Hey everybody, welcome, and thank you for listening to this episode of Marriage Therapy Radio. My name is Zach Brittle. I'm here with Laura Heck. Let's see, today is the day that our interview with Terry Real and Belinda Berman Real comes out. I just listened back to it the other day, and man, it's got some pretty cool stuff in there. It is part of our series called So I Married a Relationship Expert, which is available to those of you who are supporting Marriage Therapy Radio through our Patreon. If that's not you, and if you would like to listen to the episode, you can go to marriagetherapyradio.com and become a member there. We'd love to share that interview with you, and I'd love to hear what you think. In this episode, Laura poses a question about what are we supposed to do when there's been a request of some sort, and we're not really sure whether or not our partner has heard that request. What do we do as the asker? I think we also lean a little bit into what to do as the responder. I get to tell one of my favorite stories that I don't think I've ever told on the podcast before. It's pretty fun. I hope you'll dig it. This is a very cool conversation. Stick around.
I would rather have you burp into the microphone than clear your throat into the microphone.
Sorry.
Do you have anything?
No, I don't have anything lined up right now, but I am drinking a Diet Coke, and if I get one, a good one, I will
do it into the microphone for me.
Yeah.
I'm sure Jason really appreciates it too, because he's listening for all of like the little things that he can clean up.
Yeah.
Anyway, guess what? Today I got up and I ran this morning, 6 a.m., met my girlfriend, and I'm wearing my vest because all I'm thinking is like, oh, it's dark now. Okay, so I have to have my headlamp and I have to wear my illuminated vest, and it lights up and it's a whole disco party with me on the run. and then it starts to snow on us this morning. Snow actually came down.
It's October.
Very exciting.
The 17th.
That's right. First day of snow here in Bend.
Does it, is that normal? Is that early? Is it late?
Well, no. Here's the weird thing about Bend is the whole concept is like, if you just wait 30 minutes, we'll get a different weather pattern come through. Yes, it snowed. It only barely stuck on, like some of the grass or whatever, and then it melted away. But then we also will get like snow-looking hail that collects and like covers, and it looks like it just snowed a foot of snow, and it's hail in the middle of August. Like we have the weirdest weather patterns. But for the most part, it's sunny and delicious. And
it's the desert, right? Bend is the desert.
It's high desert. Mm-hmm.
High desert.
Yeah. I actually saw, I'm just going to toot my horn, but I forwarded this to my...
Sorry to clear my throat.
If I can fart into the microphone, I will 100% save it up and I will fart into the microphone.
You were repenting from your like potty humor, like commenting stuff in the behind the scenes, and now you're like trying to fart in the microphone.
Well, it's one thing to fart in the microphone for you. It's another thing to like sexualize a human being. And that's what I felt bad about. We're talking about.
So by the way, if you want to know about Laura's repentance from sexualizing human beings, you have to check out the behind the scenes at the Patreon.
That's right.
One of my favorite, I want to say this for a second. One of my favorite YouTube guys is a guy named Ryan Airy. We actually interviewed him. He was the guy who came on and talked about WandaVision and all the comic book stuff. Mm-hmm. I watch his channel a lot, and I love Ryan, and I love watching him. He's very, very good at like owning his stuff and kind of apologizing when he's wrong, and also thanking his audience, and also saying, "Hey, I really appreciate you putting up with me trying to sell you stuff all the time." Oh. And so he's like my role model in that space, and so I want to acknowledge that he is really good at his job, running a YouTube channel. And also I want to model and say, hey, thank you for putting up with us trying to sell you stuff all the time, because we're
just trying to figure out how to keep doing
We're just trying to figure it out. Also, if you're into like Star Wars or Game of Thrones or Marvel stuff, Ryan's channel is called Screen Crush. And you should check it out. He's the guy who comes on the day after the episode or the movie and says, "Here's all the stuff you missed." So if like you went and saw the Deadpool movie, and you're like, "Here's like the 100 little Easter eggs and little inside jokes that you missed in the movie." It's pretty cool. He does a great job.
That's super cool.
They're going on tour, and I think I'm going to go see them.
Who's them?
Like his little YouTube team. Like it's him and a couple other personalities that are front facing, and then there's all the researchers and nerds that are behind the scenes, and they go and they kind of do a panel, and they have like Q&A about, Marvel or Star Wars or whatever.
That's your jam.
And then it's just kind of cool. I don't know. They're going to a bunch of different cities. One of them's Dallas, where Abby is, so I might go see her, and another one is LA, so I might do that and go see some clients while I'm down there. So
clients, you're such a weirdo.
Yeah,
we have just the weirdest. I was talking to a girlfriend, and she said,
"I mean friends. I mean friends.
There you go. There you go. Thank you. She's just like, you guys work because like literally you can step on each other, you can interrupt each other, you can disagree with one another, you can criticize, and it just works for the two of you. And I'm like, yeah. Zach and I, we do work well with each other. I posted in the Patreon, like this whole idea of my clients, their volume sensitivity is turned up just in general. And in my relationship with you and in my relationship with my husband, my sensitivity volume is turned way down. Like I don't hear you interrupt me.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It is like, and I think there's a couple of things. Like one, I think it is who I am as a person. Like not a ton ruffles my feathers. I'm not a very defensive person.
You are pretty resilient in that way. That is true.
Yeah, I think I've got like a pretty. The way that I describe it is like I've got a pretty solid ego. So like you could probably knock me down in a lot of pegs, and it gives zero fucks given, right?
Yeah.
Until it's the 4 days when I'm menstruating, and then it's like you better watch out, and you mind your P's and Q's, and you pay close attention because my dial is turned up. Yeah. But I think it works really well for the two of us, and I think that it's also really relaxing that we don't have to be super guarded and like watch what we say when we're with each other.
There you go.
Yeah. This show is brought to you by BetterHelp. BetterHelp has been a support of Marriage Therapy Radio and our listeners by being your go-to connection to licensed therapists who can meet with you entirely online. BetterHelp is designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. And here's a little secret benefit of joining BetterHelp. If you aren't loving your therapist, you can switch at any time for no additional charge. That's a huge bonus because shopping around and trying to get on a therapist's calendar, it can take weeks, if not months. And you know that we are big believers in taking personal responsibility in your life and in your relationships. It all starts with working with a qualified licensed therapist who can help guide you and give you the tools to the best version of you. Overcome your fears with BetterHelp. That's betterhelp.com/marriage therapy today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/marriage therapy. I know I had a topic to talk about and I can't remember what it was, but I sent it to you yesterday.
Yeah, it was about how when, and this is on your mind, I'm happy to bat it around, but it's about how when somebody, say, makes a commitment to change.
Yes, I remember.
Okay. Do you want me to stop talking?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna pitch it to you because what I want is I want feedback of like, what do you think about this?
Okay.
So I'm gonna give a scenario, and this is one that actually is in my relationship with Ryan. And it's always been kind of a perpetual tension between the two of us. Is that Ryan it doesn't have to be golf, but for a long time he has always been very busy. And so just as an example, he might say, hey, can I, for the weekend, go to Bandon and play golf with the boys? And I'm like, oof, okay. I mean, that really inconveniences me because now I'm going to single parenting. I can't do my training. I have to put my own needs on hold to support you. But okay, I'm going to support you. And then while he's in Bandon, they are now planning 3 more trips. And he's sending me text messages and like Google invites of like, and by the way, I'm going to be doing this other thing and this other thing. And so my request to him, I complained. I said, hey, you seem to be taking a lot of time for yourself. It's inconveniencing to me, blah, blah, blah. I want to support you. But I need you to not say yes to everything. And I would love it if you didn't ask me if you can do 9 golf trips this year because I feel like the bad guy. Like I'd love for you to kind of filter it out a little bit and think to yourself, does this make sense for my wife? Does this make sense for our family? So anyway, the big chief complaint in my relationship with Ryan with regard to this is that he wants to do all the things all the time. And I just told him I would really love it if you would say no every once in a while to your friends or not leave it up to me to be the one that says no because I don't want to feel like the bad guy. So here's one request. Here's another example. Another example might be I'm a saver and my husband's a spender. And my complaint and my request is that, hey, I'd really love it if we were a little more, focused on saving money. Let's make sure that we're not spending a ton of money, whatever it might be. And he says, no problem. I'm on team you. Let's make sure that we're saving money, whatever it might be. So now here's the question that I have for you and the tension that I find. Once I have brought this up to my partner, to my husband, and we'll use the example of just him saying yes to all the things, wanting to do all the things, big planner. It is now on my mind. Are you taking my request seriously? Are you taking steps you agreed that yes, we have the same vision and that you're agreeing to honor my request. Now I'm kind of hyper vigilant, keeping my eyes out of like, are you actually agreeing to what you said you're going to agree to? And I'm probably going to spot all the ways in which he's falling short of his commitment to me, whether it be that I'm going to spot him, signing up for a ton of stuff. I'm going to spot him spending a lot of money, whatever it might be. So what I was thinking about yesterday is, what if we took the weight off of my shoulders and instead put the responsibility on my husband to report back and say, hey, babe, I just wanted to follow up. I know that you said this was bothering you, and you asked me to turn down requests to do all these things because you didn't want to be the bad guy saying no to it. And I just wanted to let you know that I had a conversation with Tommy. Tommy invited me to go golfing this weekend. I didn't bring it to you. I just told Tommy, you know what? We've got a full calendar. I'm a note this week. And so now the responsibility is on Ryan to close the loop with me and to basically kind of toot his horn and say, I heard you. I'm taking steps, actionable items to follow up on your request. And here's how I'm honoring your request. And I wanted to ask you what you thought about that.
I think that would be a good thing for Ryan to do.
You are such a punk.
I mean, listen, you laid it out. I think I don't want to take over the conversation, but I
go for it. I'm looking for your opinion.
I have a emerging belief that there's two things. Did I tell you about the Mike and Ike's?
Yes.
Like how yeah. So, okay. So quick refresher. I poured some Mike and Ike's on the counter to eat them. One of them fell off. Rebecca said, hey, one of them fell off. I said, no, it didn't, because I didn't see it. And then I saw it and I picked it up and I put it in my mouth and I didn't say anything.
Right.
And then maybe 10 or 12 days later, I said, hey, I've got a conviction. I need to tell you that like I ate that Mike and Ike and I was gaslighting you and I'm really sorry about it. So that's in a previous episode. If you want to hear like the longer version of that, that's fine. But the power of that story is that she had an experience she did not expect to have, which was me coming back and saying,
right,
I am attentive to a thing that matters to you.
That's right.
She didn't even know that it mattered to her. Like, I'm sure she had moved on. I doubt she thought 100%. About the Mike and Ike even one time.
Yes.
But she had this like experience of going, he's thinking about me. He's thinking about us. He's thinking about, and it wasn't even like the candy was a non-issue. And so in this story that you're offering about Ryan, for example, and if we're talking about how that would apply in sort of client land, I think that there's two things, right? Like not only is there's the he's conforming or he's turning toward the bid.
Right.
He's giving you, in this example, evidence that he's thoughtful about the relationship.
Right.
And that he is able to sort of level up or, we talk about the emotional bank account all the time. So like if he doesn't spend money, maybe that's like a little bit of a deposit in your bank account. What was it? He didn't say, he says no to this thing. That's like a deposit in your account of say $10.
Yeah.
The fact that he told you about it and gave you evidence that there was thoughtfulness and responsiveness is like another $10. It's like compound interest on top of it. So
yeah. And I think what happens is that I would have a really hard time seeing and understanding and knowing, like if I was asking my husband, can you please save money? Can you please choose not to say yes to all of your friends' requests? Those things are blind to me. I don't actually have a way of gauging whether or not he's doing that.
Right.
Right. And so what I'm asking.
But you do have a way of gauging when he's not doing that.
Exactly. And 100%, that is where so many of relationships are fixated is I'm here to protect myself from pain and hurt. Therefore, I'm going to keep my eyes focused on how you're not hearing me, how you are not following through on your actions, how you are betraying me. That is just human nature in general to have a critical eyesight and mindset. So what I'm asking is that if your partner has come to you and said, hey, this really matters to me, that you continue to follow up and say, if it matters to you, it matters to me. I am still thinking about it, prioritizing it, and I want you to know. And here's the evidence to support on a daily basis that you probably have no idea. Like you have no idea that. And I was thinking about that. I was like, what's the harm in your partner coming to you with
I got one.
all of the evidence to say, here's how you matter. Here's how I'm thinking about you. Here's how I'm prioritizing your needs. You think there's harm in it?
I think there can be. I think particularly if he comes back and goes, hey, just so you know, I told Tom I wasn't going to go golfing with him because you don't want me to. And just like, so I hope that makes you feel better.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like he could come with a big chip on his shoulder about what a great martyr he is and how he's handing you his, he's accommodating your unreasonable request. So that, you know what I mean? Like there's that side of it.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, I need can I get some credit for this thing that I did? Because, by the way, I'm storing this up for the next time because I told Jim that I was going to go to, LA to see Ryan Airy and his thing,
Well, okay, so there's two ways that I could respond to that. One, I could hear the chip on the shoulder and I could take the bait and I could be like, what the F, blah, 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 and then we could get into a fight.
Now you're off and running. Yeah.
Right. Or I could hear it and I could disregard the tone and the resentment and I could recognize that I asked for him to do something that he is accommodating. This wasn't his idea, but he's saying, if it matters to you, you matter to me. And I could still say, you know what? I know that was really hard for you to do. And I really appreciate that you did that. And I
take the sting out of it a little bit.
100%. Like don't take the bait, but respond with appreciation and gratitude. I did that. I was talking about with one of my clients, like how to sort of trick your partner into doing things for you by tapping into their dopamine system. So if he comes to me and he says, hey, by the way, I talked to Tom and blah, blah, blah. And I go, oh my gosh, thank you so much. You are so thoughtful. I can't believe, I know it's really hard for you. Man, I'm so grateful for you. That is so incredible. Now I've tapped into his dopamine system and I've just
double down.
Now he's like, well, that felt really good. How do I get more of whatever that drug just dumped into my body? I'm going to do more of that. So
what you're talking about is staying in your wise adult, which you're going to learn all about this weekend at the
so
workshop.
Excited.
But yeah, I'll tell people all the time, if somebody comes to you and they're not in their wise adult, meaning they're acting out part of their persona.
Yeah.
You can meet them with the acting out part of your persona. And then now again, we're off and running, or you can respond out of maturity. And it's not quite trickery. I mean, it's a neat trick, but it's not manipulation. It's just maturity.
Yeah.
And that is, I think that's just part of the system.
Well, I think of it as like an added bonus, right? Like if a date with me means great conversation, you get to look at me and also you get a delicious, yummy meal, then my partner might look forward to having a date with me because of the added bonus of this yummy, delicious meal. Well, the added bonus of doing things that I love and that are meaningful to me means that you get adoration and appreciation and gratitude, and that feels really good to you. Cool. Added bonus.
Yeah. I'm into the added bonus part. I mean, there's just, again, I call it compound interest, particularly because we use the emotional bank account metaphor all the time.
Right.
It's sort of like, here's the deposit, but the fact that you did the thing is actually where the value is, or the fact that and if your partner isn't inclined at the moment, if you're not inclined at the moment to be looking for him to do the thing, I think it's reasonable to draw attention to that, if only to maybe the way he should do it, and I don't want to use the word should strictly, but is to say, hey, Tom invited me to go play golf, and I said, no, that's not really working. Is that what you're talking about? Is that what you're looking for from me?
Sure.
Like, and you can go, yeah, that's exactly, okay, good.
Yeah.
Then I'm in the neighborhood. Great.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks. Now we're actually collaborating.
Yeah. I think it could be as simple as telling my kiddo, hey, I'd really love it if you would hang your towel rather than throwing it on the floor when you're done using it. And he hears the request, and then he says, hey, Mom, can you come upstairs? I have something I want to show you. And he shows me that he put his towel on the hanger, and I go, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And he feels really good. I'm kind of asking for that in relationships, that when your partner has a request from you, I think we should lean into, I want to ooh and ah and show you that all the things. Here is the evidence to support, because you're probably not going to see it. I'm only going to see when my kid's towel is back on the floor. I'm not going to see when he hangs it up unless I'm specifically looking for it. That's just not how we're wired. So I'm a big fan of turning on this whole mechanism of like check and balance of, I'm going to show you that here's the things that support your request, so that there's a balance that we both can say, yes, we both see it.
Can I flip it over for a second?
Sure.
What about this? Let's say she wants him to quit drinking, or she wants him to go to therapy.
Okay.
And he agrees to do that.
Yeah.
And so he finds a therapist, or he starts going to AA or something. And she says something like, how's it going? And he goes, that's mine. It's none of your business. I don't need to talk to you about what I do in therapy.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? I feel like I hear that a lot more.
I do too.
Than I would like to, but like, what do you think's going on there?
I mean, that's a great question. I think we would have to ask
is he right?
our clients.
Is he just in saying that's mine? Like this is mine that I get to keep to myself?
Yeah. I mean, it was never a part of the request of, I'd like for you to go to therapy and then report back to me all the ways in which you're growing and taking responsibility in the therapy setting. If the request was, I'd really love for you to work on yourself and go to therapy, I think it is a perfectly fine boundary to say, I went to therapy today. I mean, I think it's snarky to respond back of like, I don't have to tell you if I went to therapy. I don't have to tell you whether or not I went to the gym today. I think that's snarky, but I think being able to have a boundary and saying, the things that I'm talking with my therapist are private, and I really appreciate having the context to be able to share, some of my most private thoughts and unpack them. And, but I will say that it's going well,
Yeah. I'm glad that we're talking about this, because I think I'm backing into what I appreciated. It goes back to kind of the piece. When I have, in those situations, when I have asked him, what's that about for you? Like, why don't you share what's up? Like, why don't you talk about your process and let your partner in on kind of what you're learning?
Yeah.
His response is often, because I don't want to be judged, or because it's not going to be good enough, or because I don't want to be told that I'm doing it wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I suppose what I'm backing into is this idea of, if your partner is turning towards you in ways, you need to reward and validate that it's happening at all. Not keep your eyes open for how it's not happening, or how it's not happening enough, or how it's not happening in the way that you predicted that you wanted. A good example, even if we go back to this kind of money thing, is, you may ask Ryan to stop spending money. And for you, that means don't spend $500. And for him, that means don't spend $5,000.
Sure.
So he doesn't spend $4,000.
Yeah.
And he only spends $1,000.
Sure.
He's done a really great job. He's eliminated $4,000 of his like kind of emotional hook or trigger or financial philosophy, but it still cost you $500.
Yeah.
And so somehow you guys need to couples need to close the gap between what's the actual ask and what's the actual execution, which is where I think this part about letting your partner into the behind the scenes piece is really valuable. Kind of going, hey, maybe even if he said, hey, listen, I know that you just saw that $1,000 thing. You need to know that's $1,000 versus $5,000, and that I did that because da 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 da. And you're like, well, but 500, and he's like, I know, totally.
Okay,
but also, and then now you have to go, okay, I'll let that land, or I'll let that be a thing.
So you're talking about something that's kind of interesting, which I have always appreciated, is this whole idea, and I've used this, I think, quote, when we were teaching, wherever I go, I carry you in my heart, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. This idea that I'm bonded to you. You are my partner, which means that whatever I do throughout the day, I carry you, and I consider your thoughts. I consider your needs. I consider, your feelings in whatever I'm doing, whether I'm talking flirtatiously to another person, whether I'm making a calendar, commitment to somebody else. I carry you in my heart. And what I really like is this idea of like a partner proactively coming to their spouse and saying, hey, I did this thing and I was thinking about you, and I just wanted to talk to you because I have a feeling that you're not going to be happy with this decision that I made. Because we've had this conversation before, because it's brought tension with us before, whatever it might be, rather than waiting for your partner to explode because they're like, WTF, were you not thinking of me? So it's like preemptively coming to your partner and saying, hey, I wanted to let you know you're going to see this charge in the credit card bill, and that's going to frustrate you. And I know that we had this conversation, and I just wanted to talk to you about it because XYZ, whatever it might be. But I think that there's so much that can ease that conversation rather than breaking the trust between you and your partner, where your partner is constantly on the lookout of, I don't trust that my partner considers my thoughts, my feelings with their actions. And so I'm going to become hyper vigilant to spot all the ways in which they're failing me. But now instead, you're getting ahead of the curve and you're saying, hey, this thing happened. I suspect you might feel this way, and I wanted to talk to you about it because you matter to me. I think that while we're not purposefully hurting our partner, or I think that you're still showing I care about you and I consider you.
I don't think I've ever told you this story, or maybe I have, but it fits into this episode, which is it's kind of along the lines of what we're talking about. It's exactly along the lines, but it's a little bit of an outlier. I had a couple come into my practice. This has got to have been 10 to 12 years ago at this point. And they had, she was pregnant, like pretty pregnant, eight months or so, like about to have a baby. That was their second baby. Right after the birth of their first baby, he had an affair with a coworker. They would go to these bars and restaurants right around the place where he worked with this gal. I didn't see them at that part. They had come into my practice well after that. They had found their own recovery. I wasn't a part of any of that. So that was ancient history to me and kind of to them.
Okay.
So they come in and report this conversation. And the conversation is they're driving through the part of town where he used to work. They're driving past all these restaurants that he would go to with this gal.
Yeah.
She was driving. And he turned to her and he said, and this is like 5-6 years after the fact.
Yeah.
He says, hey, I just want you to know, I know where we are right now. I know that we're driving through this part of town. It's probably stirring some stuff up for you. And probably even because of the fact that you're about to have a baby. And I just need you to know that I'm totally here. I'm with you. I'm like, I got you. And and she didn't say a word. She just started crying. She just started like tearing up.
Yeah.
Because he had sort of preemptively crawled inside her head and her heart and said, I know where you're at. And even if she wasn't there, like even if she was like barely paying attention to where they were, she got this really important piece of information, which was my husband is on top of this stuff and is not going to let me run away with my own thoughts. So she will tell you to this day that 30-second conversation in which she did not speak is one of the most powerful conversations she's ever had in her whole life. So kind of the idea that we can let people into our private world on their behalf I think it carries a lot more weight than we think. Just like Rebecca and the Mike and Ike's thing, like just to know that you're thinking about it is actually a really big deal.
Totally. I'm always thinking, what's the downside? The downside might be that you might get it wrong. You might assume something about your partner's thoughts and feelings that is inaccurate. So if, like let's say the two of you are getting ready to go on vacation and your wife is sitting there and she's kind of fussing with packing all of her summer clothing and she's pulling out the swimsuits and you're thinking to yourself, ooh, I know that she's really been struggling with like her body image. She's had a hard time getting the last 15 pounds off after, the birth of the baby or whatever it might be. And so I'm just thinking ahead, like, what if he was to say something like, hey, I know that like getting into a swimsuit is one of those like really anxiety producing times for you. And I just want to be a support to you. What can I help to do to help you feel more comfortable? What if he's wrong? What if she goes, what the hell? I feel great about my body. What are you talking about? Like, I look good. Like, do you think that I need to lose 15 pounds? So what I'm thinking is like, what if you are trying to get ahead of it? You're trying to be empathetic. You're trying to imply or infer information about your partner and you're inaccurate. What's the harm in that? Then what? I
don't know. Maybe you just go, oh, there's your burp. Maybe you just go,
then you repair.
Yeah. You just go, sorry, my bad. Yeah. Sorry. I was just trying to do that thing Zach and Laura said I should do, which is get ahead of the curve. And I'm kidding about that a little bit, except that I do think that there's something about when you're trying to do something, you can be hyper explicit about it and just say, hey, I'm trying out some stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying out this thing that I heard on a podcast that is supposed to like get ahead of if I'm wrong, if it's a swing and a miss, it's a swing and a miss. My bad. Like totally. I actually agree. I think you're amazing. I was only saying that because I thought, maybe, you know what I mean? Like there's all kinds of ways that you can get out of that. But the key is obviously to stay in your wise adult. And the wise adult is a part of you that has access to logic and reason and humor,
right?
Without needing to, panic or withdraw or, lash out sort of thing.
Yeah. And by kind of getting ahead of it and maybe saying like, hey, I'm trying some stuff out. I'm going to need a little extra grace. I'm going to need you to kind of like help me understand the guardrails here of, is it landing? Is it not landing? But ultimately, all you're doing is attempting to connect with your partner. When it's a misconnection, that's when we need a repair. And repairs can be quick, fast, just get back on track and try again. But you do need a little bit of grace from your partner when you're trying to connect and trying to find a meaningful way to understand their inner world. Well, this was kind of interesting. Did you think this is where the conversation was going to go today?
I loved it. I thought it was
Good.
Great.
I'm glad.
I hope it was helpful to you and to all the people out there in radio land.
Yeah. I don't know when this episode's going to come out, but I will tell you. Okay, great. So then on Tuesday, I will be 2 weeks out from the New York Marathon. So that's why exciting. This morning I was running in the snow, which was
When is the New York
exciting.
Marathon? The date?
November 3rd. It's a Sunday.
Right on. So right before the election. And if you haven't gotten your your stuff in gear, particularly if you live in a swing state, go ahead and make sure you have a voting plan and weigh in on democracy in the United States of America.
Look at you and spay and neuter your cats and dogs.
Spay and neuter your dogs. Yeah. Your cat, dogs, and cats. We have the boot camp coming up this weekend, which is sold out. Crazy.
Yeah.
Then the following weekend we go to Minnesota to do it a second time. That one's sold out, which is crazy.
Yeah. Cool.
And then I'm in Philadelphia the week after the election to do it. That one is not sold out. So if you're in or around the Philadelphia area, with the weekend of November 9th and 10th, you have an opportunity to come and study. We'll tell you all about it next week. I'm interested to see what Laura thinks about her experience at the boot camp.
Me too.
So.
You can come as an individual or as a partner, couple, and you can find more information out by going to marriagetherapyradio.com. There's information and registration info about Zach's boot camps. All right, well, let's land this plane.
You got it.
Toodaloo. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Marriage Therapy Radio. As I mentioned, you can find out more about Zach's boot camps on our website, marriagetherapyradio.com. Thanks for all of your time and attention, making your relationship better today than it was yesterday.